What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here, and today's mission, I'm here to do a first class review of the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Shout out to Activision for providing me with an early access review copy for the game. Also, keep in mind this review was done on a PlayStation 4 Pro. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was a staple of my childhood, and I continued to play the games well into my high school years and beyond. So when this game got announced, I was extremely excited, and after 100%ing both campaigns, it didn't disappoint. We're going to be getting into the features, the good, and some of the bad. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 are tough to consider remasters, especially given the massive overhaul the graphics and controls have received. It honestly feels more like a remake. The characters and environments look really good on the PS4 Pro and run extremely smooth. The only real thing I had an issue with graphically was that sometimes when shopping in the store, there would be noticeable loading of textures or pop-ins. However, this never bled into the gameplay itself, so it's not really that big of a deal. If you were expecting the old-school, arcade-type gameplay of the first two Tony Hawk games, you're in luck because it's all here and more. They've not only overhauled the graphics, but the controls are much tighter and much more accessible this time around. You're even able to map the tricks to the control scheme you want, including your special tricks like the 900. Special trick slots are unlocked as you play the game and complete challenges. There are new tricks and new skaters that were never featured in Tony Hawk before, and it's funny because the character models are all scans of their current looks, so when you're skating as Tony Hawk, you're skating as 50-year-old Tony, which is actually kinda funny. That's the great thing about these games, is that they don't take themselves too seriously, which is the big draw of these games. You'll have golf carts and taxis around the map that will hit you at 100 miles an hour if you're not careful, and it just adds to the chaotic punk rock atmosphere the games are known for. So what can you expect from the main campaigns for both Tony Hawk games? The gameplay is very solid, and the goals for each park differ slightly, progressing in difficulty as you go through the campaign. You begin with simple goals like collecting fire hydrants and breaking boxes, to jumping over a magic homeless guy 5 times and hitting a series of death-defying gaps. The maps are all relatively the same from the originals, although don't expect to see goals in the exact same place they were in the old games. Stat points are littered throughout the maps, each one having its own determined amount, but each skater's skill points are in different locations. You'll want to collect them all if you really want to max out your character and become a world-renowned pro skater, and trust me, you can tell the difference between a high-level skater and a low-level one. Just like in the old games, you'll want to max out your air and hang time to allow for more time to pull off these crazy combos. At the beginning, I couldn't even get over this gap, but with raised stats, I can clear it every single time. Progress in your characters actually shows and is super important later into the game when you need that air and hang time to complete some of the larger gap goals. Stat progress also carries over to Pro Skater 2 whenever you're ready to move on, as these games are together instead of being separate titles. The campaign doesn't feature a story per se, but the story of the game is told through the gameplay as you conquer each map and earn gold medals in competitive maps. It's one of those games where it's easy to pick up but difficult to master. Reach a certain number of goals in a given park and the next park will unlock, and so on throughout the game. This culminates in you unlocking hidden parks and other unlockables as you play. That's the other great thing about this game, is that even in the day of microtransactions and a company that heavily relies on them, everything in this game can be earned just by playing it. In fact, I'm happy to say that as of right now, there are no microtransactions at all. Everything can be earned through a series of challenges that can be done just by playing the game. The game tracks your challenges for you on the right side of the main menu screen, detailing progress or letting you know that you have a finished challenge to claim. These reward you with money for the store and experience for your skater profile. Leveling up unlocks new features in the store, while completing challenges unlocks new slots for your special tricks. Speaking of the in-game store, this is the central hub for unlocking a lot of the game's customization options, including your Create-A-Park and your Create-A-Skater. As you level up, more items will unlock that you can equip your Create-A-Skater with, or unlock an awesome new item for your custom skate park. After completing the campaign, you unlock game mods that make the game even more interesting. Now, you obviously can't use these in the online, but they can make the offline segment even more fun. Things like no bails, perfect rail balance, and even a tiny or giant skater mode await anyone who beats the campaigns. There's also a ranked and free skate segment where you can test your speedrunning skills against the entire world. Skaters will compete on each map to see who can complete the park goals in the shortest amount of time and take their spot on the leaderboard. You can also just free skate around the parks to get a feel for them and practice your runs. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 now feature online multiplayer, and it is extremely fun. You can join an online lobby, or you can play local multiplayer, and all your favorite game modes are back. Trick Attack, Graffiti, and more are all featured, and the online lobbies were fairly easy to get into, with no in-game lag that I was able to notice. One of the best features in the game is Create-A-Park. If you ever wanted to create your own skate park, or wanted to bring back your old designs in full HD, this game makes it extremely enjoyable. From curved tunnels to a mile-long rail, if you can dream it, you can build it. It's super fluid and allows you to literally create anything. While there are guidelines you can follow, you can also just put ramps on ramps and pools inside of pools. There's almost no limit to what you can do, and the best part is, you can upload your created park for the world to see. This gives the game a lot of replayability as you look to create your own and tackle other people's dream parks. And if there's one thing I've been excited to talk about this entire review, it's the fact that the soundtrack slaps. Bringing back the famous tracks from the original soundtracks of both of the first two games, the game also includes new artists such as Machine Gun Kelly. This soundtrack brought back so many memories, especially when Superman by Goldfinger comes on. It's hard to put into words how hard this soundtrack hits when you first hear these songs again, and it instantly brought me back to playing the originals on PlayStation 1. So let's talk about some of the bad. The only real problem I noticed was that sometimes it felt like I was being guided towards objects in the environment, grinding rails being the biggest offender. This would sometimes cause me to bail and lose a massive trick combo, but it happened so rarely that it didn't really bother me that much. While the game did bring features from more recent games, I felt a really good addition would have been the ability to walk around without riding your skateboard. Granted, every location can be reached while riding, but sometimes getting to places felt clunky, or there would be a ladder on it that was just for show. It felt like things like this could be added to help improve the user experience, especially since it was featured in more recent titles. Other than those two things, and the minor texture pop-ins in the store, I have no real complaints about this game at all. While Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 doesn't reinvent the wheel when it comes to the series, it's an extremely fun remaster and one I will definitely be playing for months to come. The controls are much tighter and much better, and the locations and skaters are really amazing to see in full HD, and the quality of life improvements added to the game really make this a must-play. Even after 100%ing the campaigns, there's still so much to do when it comes to challenges and unlockables, and with publicly created content, there's plenty of skate parks out there to shred on. I'm actually really excited to see what you guys come up with on Create a Park. So here's what you've all been waiting for, the score for the game. This game is phenomenal and has a lot of great quality of life improvements that make the game even more fun than they used to be. I have to give Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake a 10 out of 10. Its massively fun arcade style and graphically and mechanically improved take on the originals is extremely refreshing. It was definitely a blast from the past and is a must-play for the $40 price tag. If you're a fan of the series or looking to get into them, this is the perfect entry point for anyone. Honestly, this is the most chaotic fun I've had with a game in a long time, and I'm glad Activision hasn't forgotten about us Tony Hawk fans. This game is a massive step in the right direction and can help bring the Tony Hawk series back into the spotlight. Hopefully this game will sell well enough to entice them into remaking the Tony Hawk Underground series, because I would love to play those in full HD just like this one. Thanks for watching my first class review of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and don't forget to omni-slash that like button. Also, again, special shout out to Activision for letting me have this early access review copy so I can do this review for you guys. Let me know in the comments section below if you plan on getting the game and what you thought of this review. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. And for all the latest First Class reviews, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.